Oh yes, my Straight Talk family, let's keep moving on. Time for me to say a very, very, very pleasant night, and in the process, extend my apologies for what was an unavoidable late start, and to welcome all to another edition of Straight Talk, and to thank those who continue to share the link. Because of your good deed, we do have first-timers. And for the first-timers, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And let us, in the process, continue to strive to get St. Kitts and Nevis back to that enviable position of being once again number one in the entire world, yes, or in the entire Caribbean at least. Let's start someplace. But Straight Talk, my family, is a program on which we tried to raise the level of national consciousness. We tried to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And as your host, my Straight Dog family, I continue to pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness. And as I'm always reminded by the words of a very favorite hymn of mine, written by Thomas Jackson and Franz Joseph Haydn, and an excerpt of it I like very much, goes something like this: we are called to be God's prophets, speaking for truth and right, and my Straight Dog family, standing firm for godly justice and bringing evil things to light. My Straight Dog family, let us seek to the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, and so we may all know the blessing of doing God's will. My Straight Dog family, and especially for the first timers, I want to assure you that nothing is watered down. Absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to make it more interesting, neither by omission or by exaggeration. My Straight Dog family, our Straight Talk is not about sensationalism, not at all about sensationalism, my Straight Dog family. And we do not try to create excitement, especially when it comes to accuracy, because we lean on the facts. Trust me, we always lean on the facts, my Straight Dog family. And I consider it my duty to always present the unvarnished truth. Always present the unvarnished truth, my Straight Dog family. The plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, when it comes to governance in this beloved country of ours. We try to ensure that there is transparency as part of the good governance tenets. And this program joins us as well it joins us together with people across the Federation. And through this program, we are joined with people in the diaspora all around the world. And some we may know, and some we have met, and some we may never know and have never met. But my Straight Dog family, we may not agree on lots of things. Of course, we entertain diversity. We entertain different views because we are different people, by the way. And we anticipate that we'll have different views, and that's fine. But it will sadden me, I must say, if we start to become disagreeable. But let us in the process continue to thank Almighty God for helping us to understand how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us hope and pray for the day when we will all sing His praise together. With all that's going on in our country, everyone is calling for unity. And that's what the people asked for. That's what the people demanded in 2013, 2014, and we got a unity government, as the people demanded. And all of a sudden, some people got greedy, and we imploded. But that's history, and we'll have to face it and ensure that we have learned from it. Because even though the people are still clamoring for unity, we need to reconcile. And reconciliation, as I said, means to open the wounds, clean them, and of course, treat them. So welcome once again, my people, and thanks for those who share the link, as I said before, and please continue to do so. And for the first timers, I must also inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screen, 663-6672, that's a local number, or 646-829-6672. For those who like the cloak of anonymity, I call it, you don't want to be heard. And I could understand why all the vindictive things that are going on in the country. One could understand why you want to hide your identity, even though you want to express your fundamental right to freedom of expression. We give you that access via our email platform, Straight Talk Patches. That's one word, STRAIGHTTALK @gmail.com. And I always welcome, of course, my junior brigade, young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, Rue Costa over there in South Carolina, Jamal in Anguilla, Travis and Travon from over there in Ponds Extension, and of course the special lady in St. Louis. On a sad note, we learned about the passing, I should say, of Sister Imelda James. I knew her as Imelda James Christopher, who has gone to the great beyond and leaves to mourn her husband, Kitty. Yes, Ernest Kitty Christopher. I haven't seen him for a long time. Her brother Steve James, he too I haven't seen for a long time. I know he migrated to Toronto, and other family members, Chanel is it? Sister as well. And my Straight Dog family, we also learned of the passing of Miss Jemima Paris, who resided in St. Thomas for many, many years, and she has left to mourn her loss. The Lith Christmas and family, the Christmas family, the Benjamins, and other family members are left to mourn her loss as well. And we want to therefore extend condolences to all those who are left to mourn at this time, and for those who I may not be aware of, who have lost loved ones as well. We extend condolences here on Straight Talk, and just to remind all of you that death is a process. And for our first timers in particular, we do have a format for each show in that we first consider our observations in review, after which we present a short thesis or a dissertation. And the title of my thesis tonight is Deliver for People Before Delivering for Yourself. And the observations in review are an integral part of Straight Talk, and after which we always move into our thesis. We highlight the current issues, we do some reflection, and then we may ask some questions as well. And our first observation, my Straight Talk family, we must extend congratulations to the debating team from Nevis, who won the Liburd Islands debating competition, and congratulations are certainly in order to our team from the sixth form college, I think it is, in Nevis. They have won this competition for the third or fourth time, I believe. I stand to be corrected, but as I said, congratulations are in order for the Leeward Islands debating competition champions for 2024. And we learnt of this feat on yesterday, Sunday. I learned of this on Sunday, and I got this report about their victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the judging panel, the winners for the 52nd Leeward Islands debating competition, amassing points of 645 points. The winners are from Queen City, Nevis.
Yes, congratulations, and no doubt everybody so elated and went up into cheers. Again, congratulations to the sixth form college from across the Narrows there in Nevis. And we again say good luck in the future. Our second observation, we still stay across the Narrows, and it's in relation to the snake, Brantley, who has always stumbled whenever he was called upon to account for the people's money. Well, at his last press conference, my Straight Talk family, at his last press conference, the snake Brantley not only stumbled, but he left petitions and divisions to wonder whether he counts in what we call Roman figures. We asked the question, and many are asking the question, if Brantley counts in Roman figures. Because each time he reports on any project, or most projects over there, each time he just either fabricates or he just delivers a different figure in terms of the amount of the projects, what money has been spent, and you can go on and on. But he's never consistent with the figures. Because the question was asked at his last press conference. I think it was on the 29th of February. A question was asked about BEAD. And you know, we've been talking about BEAD for a long, long time here on this program. And he not only stumbled, but his revised statement raised the question, as intimated early, whether the snake Mark Brantley counts in Roman figures. Does the snake Mark Brantley count, as we say, in Roman numerals? Because when asked about BEAD, all of a sudden, the answer was entirely different to what we've been hearing all the time. And he said this, my Straight Talk family.
And so that's what we're trying to cater to. BEAD. The BEAD situation has been a complex situation. BEAD, as we said in 2017, we would have paid BEAD US $760,000 as a down payment on 3 wells, total cost of $2 million US. And BEAD didn't deliver, in our opinion. We tried to engage with them, that didn't go anywhere. We eventually went to court to try to recover, not all but some, because under the contract we were not able to recover all of the monies that we had paid them. And BEAD did not respond. We in fact had a default judgment against BEAD for that amount. I will say publicly that since all that, BEAD re-entered the Federation and it has done successful drilling in Keon, in St. Kitts. And BEAD has indicated an interest in coming back to Nevis to complete the drilling that they should have done in 2017 in Nevis. And we have, as a cabinet, taken the decision that we will at least give them an opportunity to advise us whether they're in a position to now complete that contract. That is separate and apart to the bidding process that is complete, because we have evaluated those bids and we have looked at them with a view to determining what might offer the best value for money. But even as we were doing that, BEAD approached and said, hey, we know we've had these problems, but we're now finished with what we're doing on St. Kitts, and we are minded to come back to Nevis to finish what we ought to have done 7 years ago. And so we are having that conversation with them, bearing in mind, as I say, that they're ready.
And convoluted, I'm sure you would say. But don't you find it, very strange that on our last program we asked the question, how is it that BEAD is having difficulty and is on one side of the Narrows, but yet they are on another side of the Narrows? And we wonder, because if a small contractor in St. Kitts, we know, owes the government, whether inland revenue or social security or what have you, and the same obtains in Nevis, I understand, they cannot get a contract. But the snake Mark Brantley has always had an issue with accountability. But while Kittitians and Nevisians may ponder as to whether he counts in Roman figures, Straight Talk can confirm that the snake Brantley has a penchant for, he has a liking for, or a habit of lying whenever it comes to the people's money that is spent on projects in Nevis. Because remember earlier, he told the Federation this about the same BEAD. He has revised the figures to 700,000, but he told the country this some months ago.
As I indicated publicly before, we had made a commitment to have an additional 3 wells done at a global cost of 10 million EC dollars back in 2017. In fact, it was in August of 2017 that we paid to a company called BEAD just over 2 million EC dollars as a down payment. BEAD has never come to do the work for the government. And so we don't have our $2 million and we don't have any wells. We have decided to take legal action against Bede that is ongoing. So it has not been for want of trying in relation to water.
So yes, my street dog family, ask yourselves the question whether the snake counts in Roman numeral. That's the only conclusion and question we can come to. And our third observations, we continue with the issues that continue to have dogged, I should say, the July administration over the last 19 or 20 months. We spoke about the Labour regional meeting when all hell broke loose. The meeting was chaired by slow student Jeffrey Hanley, whom we were told lately has a PhD in learning and management. And because of this quote-unquote accomplishment, or purported accomplishment, I should say, the disgraced Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin had this to say.
How can the status quo be fair when the Deputy Prime Minister, with a PhD in leadership and management, is paid a salary equivalent to his Chief Education Officer and less than his PS, both of whom report to him?
And that is so false, because we continue to raise that. But coming from the crooked Garth Lucifer Wilkin, we know and expect it to be false. As the record reflects, again, and I would make the point because I saw something being peddled on one of the Facebook pages. The records reflect the amount that the ministers get as a salary. And no permanent secretary, my street of family, none whatsoever, gets paid higher than any minister whom they report to. And it is a crooked way of trying to pull wool over the eyes of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'm at times it's so offensive, my street dog family, and we must always reject it whenever we have the opportunity, and we must talk about it. We must talk about it loud and clear, and let the people know. Let these representatives know, and those elected and unelected or unelectable. Let them know we are not going to accept it, my stray dog family. All these lies upon lies that come from these representatives. And we have to stop it and let them in no uncertain term understand that we are not accepting this any longer in this country. If you want to be respected, then you must respect us as well, my straight dog family. And that's simple and straightforward. And as you can glean from the table there, what the current figure, I should say, the current figure, as I said, that's been paid to the Deputy Prime Minister, and no permanent secretary gets that figure. But what's more is that come this month March, he will jump. He will jump, my straight dog family. A 33% jump will put the slow student at approximately $19,000 per month. And you look at the basic, and you look at the gross income. And as I said before, his salary is a total compensation package. So do not be fooled. Do not be fooled, my Straight Talk family. Do not be fooled at all. And our fourth observation, I continue to raise the question on behalf of the folks in the Keon area in particular. Because believe it or not, every Monday and Thursday, I get these calls from a few people living in the Cabbage Tree housing project area who continue to express their concern about the quality of the water apparently found by Bede. And these people who call me every Monday and Thursday before my Straight Talk program, I have committed to them that I will not surrender, I will not give up on doing a good deed in this country. And they have asked me to keep this water quality issue alive. And I'm committed to doing that for the people in Keon. Because I cannot overemphasize that water quality is paramount. And it is the technocrats in these ministries I point to who must stand up and be counted. In water, we have a trained hydrogeologist, the water and manager and a water engineer. That's the title, Cromwell Williams. And he's the one, as the public servant, accountable to the country, and not the so-called engineer Conris, who is currently in Barcelona on another joyride. My Straight Talk family, the issues being raised by the residents in Keon, and they continue to ask me to keep it alive. And I will. I will until we get answers from the government. Because the government has an obligation as servants of the people. If you are a government of the people, for the people and by the people, then speak up and let the people know what's happening to the water quality issues being raised by the people in Keon, the residents in Keon and surrounding areas, which can result in poor health, sickness, and death. And I will not grow weary of raising that issue on behalf of the residents of Keon and the surrounding areas. I continue to focus and appeal to Cromwell Williams, the qualified engineer and manager, who is quiet. And I say, as the country is entitled, they are acting as if the country is not entitled to be provided with a report. And that's part of good governance. That's part of transparency. And that's part of accountability. And I dare say it is sad, my Straight Talk family, that they continue to remain quiet on this very important issue. Water is health. Water is life. So why isn't the Bureau of Standards again involved in this critical issue of testing the quality of water made available for human, or to be made available for human consumption? This is because the Bureau of Standards identified the arsenic contamination in Shadwell 2 that was drilled by Bede approximately 5 years ago. My Straight Talk family, why should we, or anybody for that matter, trust Bede? We understand that Bede did the quality testing, then BEAD cannot police itself. Come on, manager and water engineer of the Water Services Department. You have an obligation to speak to the country. Whenever you go on your program, water issues or whatever it is called, you need to report to the country. Tell us, if you say that the water quality was tested in keeping with the CARICOM standards, or more so the WHO standards, and tell us when, where, and who tested the water quality, and what part BEAD played in that process. My Stray Dog family, we need to know. And my Stray Dog family, again, I ask to the question, is there something in it for somebody? That's why they are looking the other way. The question of desalination as well. The question of desalination comes to mind in terms of the procurement process. Government, my Stray Dog family, government needs to conform to the procurement process. There's legislation. The legislation is very clear. Clear for everybody to read, everybody to understand, my Stray Dog family, when it comes to procurement of goods and or services by the government. The notice of solicitation and pre-qualification. The legislation prescribes, the Procurement and Administration Act prescribes the process. They must be published in a local newspaper or 2 local newspapers for at least 6 weeks. They have never ever been published in any newspaper as far as we know. And this is illegal. But it paints a picture of these elected and some unelected officials, and perhaps I may add, unelectable officials as well, making decisions behind closed doors. And that creates, in everybody's mind, a perception of corruption, and would seem to signify that government is working on behalf of certain private interests. You understand that the contract for this $2 million gallon desalination plant is on the desk of Lucifer. Nobody has said what is the cost of the construction of such a plant. All we are told that the Royal Utility Plant has been selected. Who were the other, if any other company or companies submitted requests for proposals? And these are issues. These are issues that must be addressed. They must be addressed if we are going to live up to the rule of law, if we are going to conform by the rule of law or with the rule of law, my Stray Dog family. These are issues that have to be addressed, and they have to conform, as I said, with the legislation. That is not happening with this July administration. My Stray Dog family, those are my observations for tonight, and I overlooked, I should say, as a public service announcement that the People's Labour Party will host its press conference tomorrow at the Marriott Hotel. I believe the time is 4 p.m. Yes, the leader and third Prime Minister Timothy Harris would host the PLP press conference at the Marriott Hotel tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'm happy that it's not conflicting with my time, so I will try and be there. Let's all go out to Marriott and keep our ears to the ground, because lots of information, I am advised, would be revealed tomorrow by the third Prime Minister and his team. But those are my observations in review tonight, my Straight Dog family. And as I move into my thesis, which I earlier intimated is titled, Deliver for the People Before Delivering for Yourself. And my Straight Dog family, since tabling what I call the now infamous resolution in the National Assembly to hike their salaries, my Straight Dog family, without justification, it continues to stimulate discussion in every nook and cranny in our federation. And my Straight Dog family, what has this administration delivered is a question that is being asked on a daily basis in the shops, on the radio programs, all over. It is a $1 million question that no one has been able to answer, and nothing but lies have been fabricated. They make up all kind of lies, to use colloquial language. And it is laughable when someone continue to peddle nonsense, for example, about nothing was done under Team Unity. But even Denzel Douglas, the senior minister and former prime minister as well, of 20 years long standing. But when he, above all people, can peddle this nonsense and is now gloating about the second cruise pier at Port Zante, you ask yourselves, my Straight Dog family, the construction of which he tried to stop. DD or DLD tried to stop the construction of that pier while he's in opposition. But look at his post, my Straight Dog family. Isn't he gloating about the largest cruise ship that has come to the pier that's spoiled? But truth be told, my Straight Dog family, this is just one legacy project, as there has never been a period and an administration that has delivered so many infrastructure projects since adult suffrage in 1952. And I am humbled to have led the line ministry that was responsible for executing these projects that everyone will agree has transformed St. Kitts and Nevis. But coming from the crooked Garth Lucifer Wilkin, we know, my Straight Dog family, what's been happening. My Straight Dog family, many people have been asking and have been suggesting, let's just do a simple performance appraisal of this current administration. And it should not be difficult, but many people have agreed with the sentiments expressed by one of the long-standing journalists in this country, the big JL, who was not afraid to speak his mind about the increase that was unceremoniously or the spike in salary unceremoniously done within the National Assembly about a week or two ago.
My thing is, I believe in do it later. The first election and you win, and you go back in. I feel that you should.
That may be a point.
That you were able to deliver for people before you deliver for yourself. But this is my point of view.
And his point of view is logical. Everyone seemed to agree. And another long-standing comrade spoke instead, my straight dog family, to greediness. A long-standing comrade of labor, my straight dog family, spoke to the greediness of this bunch of politicians now occupying the cabinet of St. Kitts and Nevis. And she never minces her words. Whenever she speaks, my straight dog family, she never minces her words. And she said this about the salary increase as well.
I believe that remuneration should really be based on performance. And you know, it's going on 2 years and we haven't seen anything major being done. And I mean, to go and give yourself such a hefty salary increase based on whatever committee, you know, that has been put together, I just think it's wrong at this time. It probably should have been done after the first term. I mean, from 17,000 to 22,000. But I mean, to do this at this time when everybody is suffering, I mean, you give minimum wage, you know, increase it from $3.60 to $4.30, $70, a drop in the bucket. You go in the supermarket, the plums and that's sometimes for $4.95, but to $18.95 a pound. I mean, come on. Oh, there's certain people supposed to eat them. I can afford to buy them, anything in the supermarket. A lot of people can't. And these are people with children, small families. It's upsetting. And it's greed, you know.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting to the thousands of people, poor people, who were kicked off the PAP. We can think of near 9,000 persons who were eligible to receive or to be part, yes, to receive a $500 per month as part of the poverty alleviation program. And this was told to us by the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Social Development, who said this to the country.
We paid 5,361 households are receiving PAP at this time. Remember, when we closed applications in December, 11,639 applied. Of that number, 8,985 were eligible. All right? And so that now, if you take 5,361 from that number, it's over 60% of the applications are being paid. I know for some persons being in the 40%, to them it's unfair.
It's not unfair. It is criminal to take bread out of the poor people's mouth and now giving it to yourselves. You're taking bread out of the poor people's mouth to put it into your own mouth. It is criminal. When we think of what's happening to poor people in this country. And my straight dog family, there's a young woman who is a junior minister in the Jew administration, who, as I said before, seemed to have been baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the IMF. Well, she came to the country and had no frills at all about telling the country this, my straight dog family.
Persons who are currently on the PAP and who will be eligible for the lift with the new conditions, you will be invited to verify the information on your original PAP application and resubmit it for consideration on the lift. Now, this doesn't mean there's a guarantee, so that should be done before the anticipated last payment on the PAP program, which should be by the end of March.
No guarantee, she has told the country. A key word, operative word, to reduce the numbers on this social assistance program, as intimated by the recommendation from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, my straight dog family, and the Article 4 report for 2023 has just been released a few days ago, my straight dog family. But it's not just those people who, on PAP who have been kicked off. There are people who have been kicked out of their jobs, my straight dog family, kicked out of their jobs. We told you just last Thursday about this immediate dismissal of the chief of security at the UDC. Last week, Thursday, when the nation was called upon to observe the National Day of Prayer, an innocent woman was killed, as I say, by the pen. And when all these workers are going home, we understand some 13 workers are being dismissed from Scasper at the airport. And we asked ourselves, what's happening? What is my cousin doing? I know you are now in a different capacity, but you always stood up for the workers, my dear cousin, Marcella, now Dame Marcella. I recall when you would stand up for the workers, you stood up for your comrade Leonato. Pay Nato his money. Your placard reads, wickedness. Pay the workers their money. So where are you, my Dame cousin? Where are you today? And all these women who have been terminated under this administration. What is your voice? Where is your voice? What are you saying, dear cuz? You always stood up for the workers. Are you going to still stand up for the workers? I ask you. Wicked. Wicked. Pay the workers is what you said. But so why are you terminating the workers? But as we continue our appraisal, our performance appraisal, my straight dog family, we can think about the cost of living. And the cost of living is getting higher and higher and higher, my straight dog family. A single mother cried for help on the Prime Minister's program. What he did? Absolutely nothing.
You know, I think, you know, it's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. Imagine a little tin of sardine for $5. It's ridiculous, Mr. Prime Minister, and we really need a help going to the supermarket to shop, especially for single parents with, you know, children, with about 2-3 children in the home. We do have a rough time.
A rough time all the people are having. People under this administration cannot afford to buy what I call the poor people's food. Poor people food. Remember our saltfish and mackerel. Our grandmothers bought it because they couldn't afford to buy it. Couldn't afford to buy the other things.
They don't have the money to buy saltfish. They can't afford to buy a pound of saltfish. I think it's hard. Saltfish get well expensive now. 3 small sal mackerel are $30. Or 3 small sal mackerel right now can't buy sal anything. I think it's so expensive. Think it need a change. It's too hard. People are hungry. I got a lot of friends who had on weight, used to look good in the body, and if you see how small I get, some of them come to me with a problem. They tell me before time they could have buy vegetables. They could have buy the provision. They could have buy this and buy that. Buy the cabbage, the good thing them for the body. They say they don't have the money now. They can't buy them things. The people and get small and so fast. People are dead. And starvation, I kill them. They're sick. Hungriness, I kill people in a sink it.
Hungriness, as this lady expounded, is killing people in St. Kitts under this July administration. And we can continue to examine the performance of this July administration. Even he himself is unaware of the cost of a pound of chicken. He doesn't even know that, to show you how much he's connected to poor people.
Just tonight, I was asked by the Prime Minister, what is the cost of a pound of chicken in St. Kitts? Well, of course, I asked my press secretary to take a look. And I reflected and wondered why the Prime Minister was asking such a question. And it's because I am thinking in my own mind that the cost of chicken might be going up. But as I reflect on it, we in St. Kitts and Nevis are also facing the same challenge. People are now making memes that I used to go to the supermarket with $100 and I couldn't fit on a bus or put it in my car trunk. Now when I go with $100, the child can carry how much things I can buy.
And that's under a July administration. You go to the supermarket with $100 and your little child can carry the things you buy. But this is all about management by Straight Talk family. And it was Mary Parker Follett who was known as the mother of modern management. I'm focusing on the women tonight. And she believed that management was the art of getting things done through people. She never managed a for-profit enterprise, but she always offered valuable insight on the importance of managers and supervisors, powering with employers rather than powering over them, and collaborating with workers to solve conflicts. She defined leadership, and her definition of leadership was that it is not defined by the exercise of power, but by the capacity to increase the sense of power among those led. Follett famously said, the most essential work of the leader is to create more leaders. But July has no answers. No answers whatsoever, my Straight Talk family. And it does not subscribe to good governance and transparency. Because when asked about our CBI program, for example, he continues to make these foolish responses.
What is the total number of passports that St. Kitts and Nevis has approved over the years? And since you have taken office, how many passports have you issued under the CBI program?
You would have asked is about the numbers. And I've said to you before that the audit is actually being had. I am not going to call a number until that audit is complete, but I can tell you this, that the vast majority was signed by the immediate past Prime Minister.
And you see, my Straight Dog family, how he fabricates. He would not tell us the numbers, but he would make a comparison. In other words, he's using the comparative, positive, comparative, and superlative, And he says the vast majority was signed by the former prime minister. And the question was how many he signed. If he knows that the vast majority was signed by the former prime minister, then he must know how many passports were signed. But he continues to lie and lie and lie. And my Straight Dog family, when we do the appraisal, I am certain that he will fail. In the area of crime, another burning issue, my Straight Dog family, another burning issue is the issue relating to crime. And when he came to office, he told us as a country that he inherited a situation which was acceptable, because crime was moved down from the 36 or 35 under the former administration down to double digits to 10 is what he inherited. And he promised my Straight Dog family that he would reduce it. He promised to reduce the issue of crime down to single figures. He did say that crime was as an all-time low when he assumed office in this country. He said this.
We are happy that crime statistics have continued to be at an all-time low, particularly in terms of gang-related homicides. The Ministry of National Security has set as a target the downward trend in homicide from the previous 15-year low of 10 to a single digit. A target is also set for improving the major crime detection rate by 15%.
And my Straight Dog family, as we continue to examine the lack of performance of the July administration, we ask a simple question about leadership. And ask yourselves, how leaders can balance the needs to perform and to transform. Because it gets from worse to worse in this country under this July administration. But yet my Straight Dog family, they went to the parliament. They took 5,000 people off the poverty alleviation program. They gave an increase of $70 on the minimum wage. But they took thousands and sneaked it into Parliament under the cover of many other bills, my Straight Dog family.
I didn't take this job to be cushy and comfortable. I know I'm going to be attacked, but believe you me, nothing they could say no could faze me. I therefore pray for the resolution safe passage.
And that resolution, no one spoke on it. Very strange. But yes, it got its safe passage, my Straight Dog family.
But I wish the resolution safe passage. May it please you.
The question is that a resolution of the National Assembly of St. Christopher and Nevis approving recommendations of Salaries Review Commission be adopted. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
And that's how it went. On that day of infamy, I should say, in this country. I know these leaders are now facing relentless sources of pressure. The first is the intense demand to perform. They have done nothing, absolutely nothing in this country. Our situation in the health sector is terrible. It's getting worse and worse, my street dog family. Everything is just going down the tube, as we say. At the Joseph N. France General Hospital, nothing is going on, my street dog family. Absolutely nothing is going on. And we ask ourselves, what is happening at the Joseph N. France General Hospital, my street dog family? This Rastaman spoke out about the service he received when he went to the JNF. He told the country this, my street dog family. This tells you how this administration is performing.
I got in a situation on the 21st of October. I went to the hospital. They sent me on an X-ray. When I finished doing the X-ray, the doctor came back to me and told me that my foot them screamed. Well, I was home suffering for a week and days. But when I'm home and I have visitors come checking on me, and so the people keep telling me, that's the man now, something is strange. The foot them need to be looking after. So I went to Dr. Hendricks and I told him the situation what I've been to. He called for the result. Now I get to know now. Ain't just one foot breaking up. It's two of them. So what is really going on in this place? How is it the Prime Minister is telling we about this machine that is working so nice and working so this and working so that, but yet we cannot get a good result? Something is very, very, very strange. And me, definitely, would like to get some answers.
Yes, my street dog family. The issue of health, they have failed. In the area of crime prevention, they have also failed, my street dog family. And in the issue of infrastructure development, they too have failed. Tackling the cost of living, they have failed. And my street dog family, in every sector you can think about, this July administration has failed us. And my street dog family, I forgot to mention something in my observations. And that is, I spoke to, as they call it, the lady who lost her sheep. And I spoke with her today, and I'm afraid that of 173 sheep, or a flock that contained 173 sheep. Sadly, she told me today, only 15 remain. And I got in contact with her today. Like I said, her name is Jean Foy. And I was saddened. I was saddened that she told me that no one contacted her, neither the area representative, Terence Michael Drew, the Minister of Agriculture, Samuel Duggins, and the Permanent Secretary and the Director of Agriculture. And I am not blaming Samal, because I believe, as I said, just in the context of the water, so too in agriculture, I believe these technical or technocrats must do their work. And the permanent secretary and the Director of Agriculture ought to have approached this lady and at least find some way and means to assist this poor lady, whose name is Jean Fahy, she tell me, Jeanfahie. And I promised her that I would speak about it tonight. I almost forgot. Forgive me. I should have said it from the beginning of the program. And I want to solicit the support of my Straight Talk family. And I'm going to commit myself to donating $1,000 to Miss Jean Fahy to help her to replenish her flock. I'm told that one sheep can cost between $300 and $500. So I've committed to donating $500, and I will place it on this account number which she gave me. And for those who have been calling me, I've received some emails as well and WhatsApp messages. And I can say tonight that you can contribute whatever amount you wish to savings account number at the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, 102-668-93. That number again, 102-668-93. And the name is Jean Fahy, who has lost some 158 sheep from a flock. They were burnt. I was saddened to learn that of the 22 that remained, 7, he told me, dropped dead a few days ago. We don't know if the 15 that remain would stay alive. But I believe it is sad that neither the permanent secretary in agriculture, the director in agriculture, have sight fit to go and look for that woman. And yes, the Minister of Agriculture ought to have done that as well, or ensure that they had done that. Because the Minister of Agriculture have spoken oftentimes about the 25 by 25 curriculum arrangement. He said this some time ago, and I know he's committed to it. Samuel said this about our 25 by 25
As I look around the room, I
arrangement.
see stakeholders from different sectors. Some of you farmers, some of you fisherfolk, some of you representing agencies that do research, some of you representing universities, some of you representing businesses that all thrive on the basis of agriculture. And if we take the time to understand that, we get down to the importance of why we're here today. And as we stand here today, talking about CARICOM's 25 by 2025 agenda, our food bill stands at $190+ million. And if we do a simple mathematical equation, we recognize that 25% of that is somewhere near 50 million. And the essence of what we are here discussing today is how we can share $50 million amongst all of them. My job here as the Minister of Agriculture is to ensure that that $50 million is going to you.
And let's ensure that you, Mr. Minister, include Jean Fahy, who lost 158 58 sheep from her flock because of a fire at St. Peter's. And this should not be about PAM or Labour or UPP or PLP or CCM or NRP. We ought to help that lady. And it's a shame, my good friend Samal, that your permanent secretary, I'm not blaming you, hear me, I'm not blaming you for 1 minute, Samal, but it would be a good thing as well if you had gone. But your permanent secretary, whoever he is, and your director of agriculture ought to have gone to St. Peter's, visit that lady or call her and find some way to ensure that this lady, Jean Foy, is part of the 25 by 25 CARICOM arrangement. And that's why I say that this administration has failed us, has continued to fail us. And once we have done our performance appraisal, we know that they have not delivered for people before delivering for themselves. That's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I'm going to open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And for those who, again, want the specifics of that lady, I'm making the first contribution of $1,000, EC dollars, to Jean Foy, JeanFahie, that's the name. She has given me a National Bank, St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank number 102-66893. For those of you who call me, I will send, those who email me, I'll send you the email response of the number I got today. I asked her if she had a mobile banking. She said no. So we'll have to find some way of transferring the number. I can transfer from an account to that number, the account number again, 102-66893. And in so many ways, my Straight Dog family, this government has not delivered for people, but they have delivered for themselves. Let's go to the lines at 829-828. What am I saying, my Straight Dog family? I always like to implore you nonetheless that I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. First, respect yourselves, my Straight Dog family. Ensure, my Straight Dog family, that the things you do and or say will be fair to all concerned. And in doing and saying those things, let us try to build better relationships. Let us also strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 9:29, I go to the lines and say, caller, you're live. Good night.
Good night.
How are you? How are you, my dear lady?
Not too bad. Not too bad. You know what happened? It really touched my heart, and I wanted to send out something to that thing, but I can't send it to the thing, so I wanted to know if you had Cash App. I would have sent it to you, and then you could have put it on for me. If you had a Cash App.
No, I don't have Cash App. I don't have Cash App. And
okay.
You should be here. You should be able though to get. I'll tell you, they should be able to get it transferred from your bank, to the bank account that's there. I can provide the transfer details. Normally, there's a form that's completed at your bank and they can go straight to her account, that shouldn't be a difficulty. But I will try to get the form and see if I can send it to you. I should have had a copy of that form as well. But,
because
but you can ask your bank.
as soon as we talk about it, everybody in the house will make up 100 for her.
Okay. Well, yes, I will. If not tonight, on Thursday, I'll get more details in terms of transferring. But I'll much prefer it goes directly to her account, though. You know?
Yeah, because I wanted to do something. So I just said anybody going to give and told them to 25. So I going to make up the rest.
Anything counts, my dear, because I mean to lose 158 animals, I mean it is so sad that nobody has reached out to her. So my heart has reached out to her. But thanks for your contribution in advance, and I'm sure she's listening. I told her I was going to make an announcement tonight on the program for her. Okay.
It might be a little more because we'll have one more or two more to add.
Okay, my dear.
But now it reached 100.
Okay, my dear. But that's $300.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for your input.
Okay. We want me to tell you that she gets Student of the Month.
Wow. Congratulations, my Straight Talk family. The Young Brigade. Congratulations.
Yes.
I'm expecting great things for Ruben Costa there in South Carolina. Thanks a lot, my dear.
Okay then. Thank you. Well, I just wanted to know how we can do it.
Okay, I'll get some more information for everyone. I should have anticipated this, but I'll get some more information for everyone. I just spoke to her this afternoon, so I'll get the information in terms of the transfer details and so on. Sure, it can be done without any cost, even to yourself from the bank. Depends on your banking, which bank you deal with as well. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay then.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Let's go back to the line.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Bibleman. How art thou?
We're fine. Really. Patrick, yes. God is good. Here. Number one. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor. In the time of trouble, the Lord shall deliver him. Now, kids, hear this here. Proverbs chapter 29. And the word 2. Mr. Patches, hear what he said. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Yes.
Mr. Patrick, you hear that?
Yes, I'm listening, my brother.
You hear that, Mr. Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
That's not Mr. So. That is the word of God.
True.
And I'm saying tonight, my Mr. Patrick, the word of God says when the righteous in authority, the people rejoice. That means the people glad. They're happy. They could move about. But when the wicked are rule, they mourn. That is, I want to say to you now that I have many passages of scripture in the Bible that I could bring to the fold tonight, but I would not do it. But all I have to say tonight, oh, give thanks unto the Lord for his good, for his mercy endures forever. He said, let the redeemed of the Lord say so, who you have redeemed from the hands of the enemy. But then the next one said, Mr. Patrick, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
Whence cometh?
Psalms 121. He said, when he help cometh,
Whence cometh
he cometh from the Lord, which make heaven and earth.
Yes.
He will bless the Lord all times. His praise shall continue in my mouth. My soul shall make a boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear it. That is,
thank you.
When the righteous in authority, a lot of things go right. Everything been in a good standing because the righteous are in authority.
True.
When they say, I am not going to further, they look like I want to take up more time I want to vote to. So see you.
Thanks a lot for your input. That's the Bible man keeping us in the spiritual realm as usual. Caller, thank you for holding you alive. Hello, caller.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, my brother from another mother.
Yes, man. How are you?
I am peaceful, Vincente. I am peaceful.
Yes. I listened to your program the last Saturday, and I was amazed at the things you said. But I know who you are, and I can't trust you. So I just want to say good night to my sweet sister there in St. Louis and Queen of Texas. How are you doing? It's my brother Culture. Listen, Peter, I would like you to call me back on my cell when we finish, because I need to speak to you. I recognize that that's why I go to you now. You hear what it says, Douglas about that large stewardship. So why does one say, well, because of we had that such a large fear, we could have trusted that. Mind you, that ship out there go up and down, and he want to go to certain ports, but he can't go because he have to put off. You know, when you have to put off people in water to go to the dock, it's not a good thing, because the water bumpy, but when you go to the pier, you just walk off and you go. So they won't come out and say, look, this thing here was done, and because of this thing, why this thing happened? Nobody would even say nothing to say, well, listen, no, at the press conference to say, listen, because of this good construction, because of the previous government did this, this is what's been happening. I don't know why they just can't just come out and say, listen, we want to give God thanks for this brand new pier. This was something that we were planning to do later. I was planning to do and they never get it done, but it's done now, so we give God thanks. That's all they have to say. That's all, Mr. Slater. Listen, Mr. Slater, that's enough for politics. See you when I see you.
Yes.
Keep lady, my sister, be good. We're going to take care of you, man. See you when we see you.
Okay, my dear brother. See you when I see you. That's the spirit and the tenacity of Straight Talk and its family, my Straight Talk family. But if you just join me, we are actually looking at our thesis for tonight. Deliver for the people before you deliver for yourself, or deliver for people before delivering for yourself. And the discussion about this infamous resolution in the National Assembly to hike the salaries of parliamentarians, in particular ministers of government, including the Prime Minister, is what it's being discussed in every nook and cranny in our federation. You've had your views about it, and I know that many have agreed that what was done was insensitive. And I listened to my former schoolmate, and I'm really tempted to say publicly that I misunderstood his approach to what was happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. And when he called in many times to my program, I would just refer to one thing, which I won't say tonight. But he knows he will know eventually who I'm speaking about. But when I listened to him in recent times, he and I spoke. We had a long discussion. And I believe, clarified many things. And I believe that we now understand each other much better. I would hope so. My former schoolmate, who said this at one time, and I'm always minded to repeat it. But let's go to the lines, and I want to thank this caller for holding. Let's go to the lines. I'll come back to that. Caller, you live. Thank you for holding.
Yeah. Good night, Patrice.
Good night, my brother. Culture.
Okay, man. I'm great, man. Thank God for you and the way you keep on pushing your program. Good night, brother. Straight Talk and all the listeners to this program. Patrice, I will never stop calling in on your program until I bring down Mickey Mouse, Dundu Dick, and his cabinet bunch of pocket concern until I bring them down. I will never stop talk. My job every day is to study and bring forward all the wrong things that Joe and he cabal them they have done to this country, and they continue doing to the people of this country. Because somebody have to stand up for them. A lot of them afraid to talk. But me, radical culture, ain't afraid, and I ain't gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. You're gonna tell me in the space of 17 months, they're gonna talk, but they want to raise? They're supposed to go to 4 years before they get any kind of increase, whether it was there, yes or not. But look what they're going to give the poor people them. Take away the $500. And those who they say they give away a lift from the minimum wage, $70. Come on, people. And you got a man in there who was the deputy prime minister under Dr. Douglas. He couldn't go up ZZ when he was in the ministry. He couldn't go up there to talk. He had to go up on another private radio station to talk what he got to say. And he should know better than that. Raise up the people their money from $70. What is $70? Anyway, enough of that. Too many things to say. But I want to say this every day. I'm in communication with Miss Jean and her husband about the animal them. Because I know animal rights, if they were here in St. Kitts, they would have found the culprit and deal with him or whoever they are. Because that is to kill one animal brutally they would have carried jail. Never mind 158 sheep went on the people in farm and destroyed the people in possession. That is what they are living from. And that is, somebody is still boozing around the people in the people in land. Went on the people in land go smoke cigarette, and neither she nor she husband go smoke. So people still fooling around there. And I'm going to say what they got to say. That possession there, they need somebody like an army man or police, just patrol around there. And anybody you catch on the land there, who do not have the legal rights to go there, just give them what you got to give them. Because it is not right. And up to now, nobody go up there to talk to the woman who representative up there. Joe, not he, neither the agriculture man. But are you looking for something in this country and it going to happen, All of them, the cabal, they are the Jew. All of them need to go up between Israel and Palestine and get what Israel I give them. Patrick, if I get back, I'll come back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. And the number of the lady for those who are asking, it's 664 5501. 664, beg your pardon. 664 5501. Again, the telephone number 664 5501. And of course, if you're calling from overseas, then you add the area code, which is 869. So let me give you the entire number. It is area code 869 664 5501. And the name again, it's Jean Jean Foy, Fahie. And someone also mentioned in a WhatsApp message to me just now that there's also MoneyGram. I never even thought about that, but I got the bank numbers for her. But the telephone number again is 869 664 5501, and I'm inviting us to contribute to the rebuilding, the replenishment of the flock of this lady who lost 158 sheep. Wow. Could you imagine that? And not one individual from the Department of Agriculture called that lady or went to visit that lady. The representative of the area, Terence Michael Joe, has not visited that lady. Neither the Minister of Agriculture. Worse yet, I'm not blaming that much the minister, but worse yet, the permanent secretary and the director of agriculture. And that's sad. My Straight Talk family, this email reads, the Attorney General is not fooling anyone, not even the retired Chief Justice, whom he spoke so eloquently about at a farewell ceremony last week. Not only the learned chief must be sane in her mind, but all those lawyers present undoubtedly are sane. Boy, just sit down, you have no shame. You should be behind prison bars for the egregious evils you have done since becoming Attorney General. Whenever the principal legal counsel in a government breaks the law, no matter how minor or trivial it may seem, and remains in that position, the country will be considered a rogue state. I think the entire cabinet and government as a whole should pay serious attention at the implications of the broken glass windows theory. I say no more. What have ears, or who have ears to hear, let them hear. Reads this email. An interesting this was raised because if you are guilty of doing small things, wow, you will also do big things. Top experts are warning humanity for world dictatorship will be listened. Read this short email. I am calling for the expulsion of Donald Powell from being the candidate of Central Bastia after he foolishly went public against his own party, PAM, and the party leader Sean's position, and declared that he supports the government minister's salary increases, quite contrarily to Sean. I will not be voting for him again. Friendship and politics will not work for me. Jonel boy, we know you and Garth, the AG, are friends, and the high praises he gave you for supporting the increase, while at the same time denouncing your leader's opposite position, tells me that Garth has you in his sphere of influence. And there is no doubt whatsoever in my mind that Garth told you to make that dumb, stupid post to save his face as a friend. I think with the greatest respect, Jonel, you should tender your resignation as the PAM candidate for Central Bastia because you seem very weak as a politician and lack political common sense. You follow Mark, another friend of yours, to lead you astray, and he too made mention of you on his program last week, giving support to 33% increase. What kind of political fool you have them making out of you, boy, Jonel? They promised you a percentage, but knowing who those two greedy, rapacious money hawks are, you can wait for it. You will wait a long time. Reads this other email. Oh, what a shame. Divisions have once again despised, insulted, and scorned by the Jew and Douglas Labour government with the appointment of Mr. John Adams as the new envoy to Canada, replacing Miss Sherry Trust. I don't think that is correct, though. Miss Sherry Trust was replaced by Sammy Berridge. But hard-working honorable lady who was appointed by Team Unity. Dr. Harris was the one who ensured that divisions must be ambassadors, envoys, etc., representing us in foreign lands and not quotations only. Consequently, he gave us Dr. Hull at the OAS in Washington, Miss Ambassador in England, and Miss Truss in Canada. Now Dr. Jew and Douglas have removed these three qualified divisions under the pretext that they were too close to Dr. Harris and do not trust them. Well, them fellows don't care a damn who they victimize. Poor Nevis has been pushed aside once more by a Labour government that has an abiding hatred for Nevis from days of old. Mark Brantley, the Premier, can't say nor do one thing about it. For Dr. Jew and Dr. Douglas has him in their pockets. What a burning shame and disgrace. I believe that John Adams was appointed the honorary consul in Toronto. I stand to be corrected, but I think that's the correct position he has got. Good night, Mr. Liburd. Thank you for consistently bringing the unvarnished truth to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I am reaching out to you to seek your assistance in explaining to the people of the Federation the seriousness of the recently published IMF report, if not just the junior minister, but the entire July administration that has been baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the IMF. Then we are in for serious hardships in this country. I am not sure if our citizens understand the implications outlined in the report, such as the recommendations for the pricing of both water and electricity to reflect the cost of production. That's so correct. This will mean the removal of government subsidies, which will inevitably lead to an increase in electricity, which they are already struggling to pay. I am kindly asking you to please use your expertise to explain the recommendations in the IMF report to our people in layman terms, so our citizens who wish to be informed could be prepared for the seriousness of what is coming our way. Thank you in advance. Read this email. This email is just saying, hello, Patches. Miss Michelina, it was very nice to hear your voice again on Island T. We missed you greatly and was thinking of you and what was the true position with your status at WinFM. The joyous and exhilarating welcome received this morning from Azad and the rest of your colleagues of Island T resonated with me and many of your listening audience. However, Michelina, amidst the grand welcome of your return, there was a flip side that saddened me. Azad told you that even on Patches show, many persons express their sad feelings that you are no longer a part of Island T. And I don't know if I heard your response correctly and would like some clarification to it. When Azad told you about Patches show, you said, Patches, I don't listen to Patches, or I didn't listen Patches, beg your pardon. Therefore, I would like to know if you said you don't or you didn't listen Patches. And if the former is what you said, could you give us reasons as to why? Again, I say welcome back to Island T. Reads this other email. Patches, who is the real snake? Is it Dr. Honorable Mark A. G. Brantley or your puppet master, this Honorable Dr. Snake Tim Harris, or is it you? You remember these words, Patches? Nevis will get your thermal that's not a word to broadcast. If you immediately tell us who used them, you are qualified to call Brantley a snake. Your slithered palm seat, you won by 4 seats. PLP 5 years later, you couldn't get a PLP ticket because Master Snake Timmy found you to be a snake. Reads this email. Very interesting email. That's what Straight Talk is all about. You can talk rubbish, sometimes we ignore it, you talk sense, and we listen to it. But we don't really, as we apply what we call the Mark Twain theory. Mark Twain said, you never argue with a fool, lest you'll have to stoop to his level and he or she would beat you with experience. Can you please repeat the person's name and phone number for the individual who lost their sheep, who would like to help assist with a donation? And the number is 869-664-5501. And the name is Jean Fahie Foy, Jean Foy, for those who are asking for the number. And if you so desire as well, she gave me permission to reveal her bank number at the National Bank savings account number 102-66893. We are all going to donate to Miss Foy, and certainly will get her back on her feet. Good night, Patches. I am a big Pam who always voted Pam, and I am now in the wilderness because of Mark Brantley. What I want to know is this: where is the yellow and blue that was flaunting last elections? I was getting fed up of Mark with his pompous language. I knew something was wrong all along. Mark is all about Mark and Nevis. He has no use for Sean was Pam right now. What am I seeing in blue and red? Because them greedy CCM ministers behind Labour and Dr. Jew like burn fly. It is such a disgrace how one man could lead a whole country in such a mess. I will never vote Pam again if they are still associated with greedy Mark, the snake, Brantley. I prefer to stay home. It's either unity or me. And my children stayed home. And next elections, cause CCM is now Labour. Reads this email. Caller, I am really sorry. I've had you holding for some time. I was trying to get my emails list down. Caller, you still there?
Yeah.
I am sorry about that. I'm sorry.
That's okay, man. That ain't nothing, man. Me and you don't in the volcano.
All right, that's correct. How is Montserrat, by the way? How is Montserrat?
Montserrat is good, man. They're quiet and cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Patches, I want the world to see how loyal and dangerous that Dundee leader is. You remember he said he get 15 dialysis machine from Canada.
15 new.
15
new.
Yeah.
Yes.
15 new, but then he still use the word the majority of them is working.
Vast majority, he said.
Yeah, right. He liked the word, the vast majority.
Yes.
And then now, when he asks about the passport, how many passports he sign up to, he gone with the word again. The vast majority of them was signed by the farm administration.
yes. But he still don't know how many, but the vast majority was signed by him. Wow.
He don't know. That's the only thing he don't know how many, but the vast majority. And when he went in there, first he come and accusing people in development bank, and he calling figures, but he ain't got no facts to show. That man is a dangerous man, and he got St. Kitts and the reef ready to turn over and sink. And I'm calling on everybody who listen to him when he speak. Check the lies and what coming out of his mouth, spitting out of his mouth like a dragon. Listen to him carefully, mind, and don't be fooled again. And let me say this here to Janelle Powell. Janelle, you seem like you acting like did another snake like the one in Nevis, you know. The one in Nevis, he backstabbed Timothy when he was in there to get down Timothy. And you don't do that to Sean. Sean is fighting against this stupidness and the wrong things that they are doing to this country. And you're supposed to back up Sean. Don't do like the one up Nevis.
Okay.
He was stabbing Mr. Amory in the back and stabbing Timothy in the back. And see what he do? He aim was to mash up unity, and he mashed it up. Okay. Keep from them, Janelle.
Okay.
Don't go in bed, lock them. Support Sean, and let's bring this ship back in the cool waters of the reef where they got it.
Okay.
Okay, Patrick, thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. We go back to the lines. Thank you, caller, for holding caller you live. Hello, caller.
Good night. Good night, Patches. Thank you for having me.
Good night, my lord.
I'm not going to announce my name, but you know who I am. And those who know my voice will know who I am. Anyway, I happened to get the information about that lady, Mrs. Foy. I just had a conversation with her, and I made a contribution to her. The ball is on her court to go where he instructed her to go and collect whatever it should be. So I'm not going to speak on bashing anyone. I'm just going to do what I should do, and I know I will do. So thank you very much. And you can go to the next caller.
Thank you very much, my dear brother, and thanks. On behalf of the lady, thank you for that contribution as well. And for those who want to contribute, as someone mentioned MoneyGram, but again, her number is 664, or rather I should say 869-664-5501, and the name is Jean Jean Fahie Jean Foy, and you can contact that lady directly. If I believe that's the best thing to do, my Straight Talk family. As we wind down tonight's programming, this email reads, Patches, I think that the big JL should get rid of Sam and Martin from Off the Groundings show. Julie was talking about the pastor that was on during the week, and Julie mentioned some of the things, beg your pardon, that the pastor said about government increasing their salaries and not looking after the poor people. And Julie said the pastor made some good points. Those two devils, Sam and Martin, don't even say a word. They completely ignored Junior Liburd and went on to talk about something else. These two vagabonds are just like this government, worthless and selfish, reads this email. And this other email reads, Dear Patches, I am deeply troubled by the unsettling silence observed from both Dr. Jew and Ambassador Vaughan during their recent time in Barbados, especially considering the looming March 31st deadline and the potential consequences of unrestricted movement within CARICOM. As our elected representatives, they had a solemn duty to speak out against the impending influx of CARICOM immigrants that threatens to overwhelm our federation. Their failure to address this pressing issue leaves us vulnerable and exposed, particularly in the face of the challenges posed by unrestricted free movement. We face the very real risk of being inundated by a wave of newcomers, straining our already limited resources and destabilizing our community. In such a critical moment, their silence is not just disappointing but deeply concerning. As citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, we deserve leaders who will fiercely advocate for our interests and safeguard our homeland from external threats. Dr. Jew and Ambassador Vaughan's inaction in Barbados sends a distressing message about their commitment to our well-being and future prosperity. They never spoke up about our vulnerability and decimation. And that's a very good point coming out in that email. And not even the people in St. Kitts and Nevis or of St. Kitts and Nevis were not even the views of the residents and in particular citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis were solicited. And we hear about this unrestricted movement, but that's how this government operates. They have power and they exercise it. They don't give one toot about us. Good night, Patches. It is quite strange when Dr. Jew took office 15 or 18 months ago, the country was in the red. And all of a sudden, things appeared to be green with those hefty increases in salary for ministers of government. Who fooling who? Reads this email. And as we wind down again tonight's program in my Straight Talk family, tonight our thesis we titled Deliver for People Before Delivering for Yourself. And my Straight Talk family, for those who may have joined me late, I started a little tardy myself, and I apologize for that. But what we highlighted tonight was the fact. We highlighted the fact that since tabling the infamous resolution in the National Assembly to hike their salaries without justification, it continues to stimulate discussion in every nook and cranny in our Twin Island Federation. What has this administration delivered is $1 million question that no one has been able to answer. And nothing but lies have been fabricated. They make up lies, as we say in colloquial parlance. But it is laughable when some continue to peddle nonsense about nothing was done under the Team Unity administration. But even Denzel Douglas is now gloating about the second cruise pay, which he himself tried to sabotage. But he found it convenient to post on his Facebook an article or an item about the second cruise pay. And here is DLD gloating, my straight dog family. Yes, that second cruise pear, which was supposed to be a spoiled pear, is now ripe, and it has accommodated the largest cruise ship afloat today, the icon of the seas. So my straight dog family, it's a legacy. It's one legacy project, one of many, that under Team Unity has been implemented. As there has never been a period and an administration that has delivered so many infrastructure projects since adult suffrage, I dare say, in 1952, my straight dog family. And I am humbled to have led the line ministry, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure and Transport, that was responsible for executing these projects that no doubt has transformed St. Kitts and Nevis, my straight dog family. But when you do a performance appraisal, and it is nothing new at all, my straight dog family. And I was going to say, and I almost forgot this, and forgive me, I was going to say that I, on many occasions, disagreed with my former schoolmate, Ira. And it's only now it's coming to the fore, and I must publicly apologize for, and we spoke before, and I explained my views, and he explained his views. But I understand Ira when he said this, my straight dog family.
I think it is more practical to keep changing our vote until we get the change we want. We shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The fact saying that you change until you get the change you want. I think it is more practical to keep changing our vote until we get the change we want. We shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The fact saying that you change until you get the change you want.
And we must change what we have now. And I agree with Ira. Even if we have to change the change that comes out of this change. But surely we cannot continue with this administration that only think about themselves. When you think about the cost of living in this country, that cannot be addressed by Dr. Joe, who doesn't even know the cost of a pound of chicken.
Just tonight, I was asked by the Prime Minister, what is the cost of a pound of chicken in St. Kitts? Well, of course, I asked my press secretary to take a look. And I reflected and wondered why the Prime Minister was asking such a question. And it's because I am thinking in my own mind that the cost of chicken might be going up. But as I reflect on it, we in St. Kitts and Nevis are also facing the same challenge. People are now making memes that I used to go to the supermarket with $100 and I couldn't fit on a bus or put it in my car trunk. Now when I go with $100, the child can carry how much things I can buy.
And that's under Terence Duke administration. And someone asked me to address the IMF report. And yes, it's a serious report. And I believe that it is a report that you ought to spend some time on. But from the press statement, the press release, or what is called a concluding statement, which describes the findings of the IMF, it made mention of the CBI, and it says, and I quote, that the CBI has performed well in recent years, but, it says, there is a scope to further improve the integrity of the program. The authorities have improved the governance of the program by advancing CBI legislation and creating the CBI Board of Governors to improve oversight. But hear this, the transparency and accountability of the CBI program could be enhanced further by publishing an annual financial report on the CBI units, operations, and key data on applications. That's what Dr. Joe is hiding from us as a people. That information is published. I can go on to the website now of the Ministry of Finance in Grenada and find out every single cent that was made, about every single cent that was made in Grenada about or in relation to the CBI program there in St. Kitts. It says a successful transition to renewable energy will have a transformative impact on the economy. Planned investments in solar and geothermal energy are expected to reduce energy imports and lower the overall cost of energy. This transition is expected to bring the country to energy self-sufficiency by 2030. Impossible, I dare say. But I know that we have a solar farm, a solar project, a PPA was already signed by Straight Talk family. Signed before by the SCALEC, and it has taken 2 years before its implementation. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Mr. Liburd, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, the reason why I didn't call in earlier, man, I was actually sitting here pondering on, some issues that, should have been highlighted in the last week, at least. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I realized, right, was the commentary that Dwyer Estefan made. I want to kind of just zoom in on one particular item tonight. From here on, I'm going to probably adjust my comments to make it a little bit more direct and simple. The commentary that Dwyer Estefan made about that project, I did maybe hear you just start referencing it. Is that correct? The one with the solar farm.
Yes, I did mention just now, yes.
Okay, so it's a good thing you just mentioned it because that was something I wanted to highlight, and my observation is that such a project, we as a small island state, right, we don't have that much not resources per se. And the idea of why I want to highlight this is this project, being that it's a solar project, we have to be careful with this project here. And I want to see, like Dwyer stated in his commentary, he was trying to highlight about ownership of that project. And I want to commend him for bringing up and talking about such a project and to highlight the most important thing that we need to be keeping our eyes on. And that project, in my opinion, should be heavily invested in the locals and be owned. The majority of shares in that project need to be in the hands of the people from get-go. No waiting for the project to take off or whatever. As the minister was talking about some stuff like that in the speech as well. We talking about our natural sun, man. A lot of people ain't really looked at that or highlight Dwyer's commentary that much.
Can I ask you?
It looked like it was pushed. Go ahead.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but I'm running out of time, so I wanted to ask this question. Are you familiar with the 3P approach?
Well, you can maybe say something about it,
the public-private partnership approach. Are you familiar with that? The Canadians are big on it. Yes.
No. I would probably say no at this time. I can gain more knowledge.
The public-private partnership, right? It is this project falls under that particular type of arrangement, right? Whereby the government has no capital outlay from the onset. There's no money coming out of the government's revenue, and the project cost is some $80 million. 80. Put that in the EC dollars. All right. And after,
but was there a change?
Bear me out. After the amortization period, which is, I understand, is changed out to 25 years, the SCELEC, which is the government, has the option to own the solar farm, right, as built. Meaning, as built means it has to be in the condition as it was built. And Dwight himself, I don't really want to comment on Dwight, because Dwight himself tried to introduce the public PPP approach in the construction of the cruise pier. But the amount of money that was being spent on it, right? What the minister said, he probably didn't explain himself adequately, right? And what Dwight is trying to say, the $200 million saving, right, is the $200 million that would have been spent on fossil fuel. So this is not a semantics and so on about, it sounds good, right, about local ownership and so on. Yes, it will get local ownership after a period of time. It comes back to the owners. Where will government find $80 million US to build a farm? And that will reduce our energy costs. We will have 36 megawatts of energy that would supply the power plant during the peak period. And I don't really want to react to Dwyer's comments, really, because, I mean, I don't agree with a lot of things he's saying and a lot of things he has said. And I would like to interject that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but go ahead.
Yeah, no problem, man. But me myself personally, I will seek to get more information as I go, as time goes along. But
please do.
At this time, I only want to simply, just like keep the eye on that, like that what I mentioned before about the locals, having a ownership in such projects, and not just this project alone, but in other projects that might come on stream later on. That's the only point I wanted to make tonight.
That's a good point. But I dare say to you that there are many locals. I hear the talk about local firms and so on. Which firm will invest in it? This National Bank is liquid because it has a lot of social security money, almost $2 billion. So the National Bank invested in the cruise pier. TDC too invested, I think, was $5 million. And the SIDF, but which firm? Which other local firm will invest in it?
I heard about those investments in the pier.
So which firm will invest in energy? Not one of them. They want geothermal over there in Nevis. Which firm going to invest in geothermal? They want $400 million for geothermal. Which firm going to invest in it? Which one?
Well, there you go. Well, there you go, bringing out another point again.
Well, so
where is the local investments?
Right, so don't bother with Dwyer. Dwyer just talking because he has a mouth, right? Which one going to invest? Go and invest in geothermal then. $400 million.
Yeah, we need some more local investments now. Like the pier was successful, so we need those investments locally instead of depending on foreign investment all the time.
Well, the leadership was different. The leadership was different, and I have to blow my trumpet here now. The leadership
maybe that will spin the ownership back to locals in different projects then. All right, like you mentioned as well.
Okay, my brother, that was a cheap shot. Don't worry about that. That's just a joke. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. Thanks for the explanation, man. I'll get up on that knowledge a little bit more as well.
Please just research the PPP approach, the 3P approach. The Canadians are very strong on that one.
Yeah,
public-private partnerships.
Still we just
government can't spend everything.
We'll see where things goes, man.
Okay, my brother. Thanks for your input, nonetheless, as usual. I want to
thanks a lot, man. Have a good night, man. Thanks.
Have a good night as well. And I'm sorry I've had this caller, holding caller. Are you still there?
Yes, Mr. Liburd. Good night.
Good night, sir. I'm sorry to have you holding so long.
No problem. Mr. Liburd, that's what I'll be here talking about the Urban Development Corporation, right? I want people to know I was one of the first security officers down at the Urban Development Corporation under Mr. Jason Kelton as the manager and Mr. Charles as the person in charge of security. And then the second CEO was Mr. Keith Phillips. And all of them didn't have any problem with me until the third one came. The third one find out that seemed to get rid of me. And to get rid of me, just because I speak about a certain thing, and they didn't like it. And I was told if I do not bring in the uniform by mistrust, they will bring police to me. But what goes around, come around. So what people is talking about, she and whatever, I have facts to back it up of how I was treated at the urban development as a security officer. You have a present with that, Mr. Liburd.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because the letter I remember reading said they are restructuring in terms of the security department, and they don't need they'd fire the chief of security. I mean, with your experience, how would that security look like, or what it would look like if you don't have a chief of security? Or what would they call them? Security is of paramount importance at UDC, don't you think?
But no, they have people down there who is supervisors could be able to run the day-to-day operation. But you have somebody in place to run the whole operation.
But they got rid of the chief of security, so who's going to run it?
But they have supervisors.
Supervisors?
They have supervisors who could do the day-to-day operation.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you for your...
I didn't want to come out here to clear up nothing, but after speaking about how people are being harassed, I've been harassed down there by the third one, and the one I was told if I do not bring in the uniform, they will send police to me. But up to now, police cannot come by my door for their uniform, but I have them in a bar waiting. So when they come, they could give them.
Okay.
I'm not going to say, well, I'm glad what happened. I'm not going to tolerate that. I do not tolerate.
Okay.
But when you have down there walking, go ask anybody down there about Dyer, they will tell you that Dyer was one of the best they had down there. And just because he speaks, they get rid of him. You have a pleasant good night.
Thank you. I can attest to that, Officer Dyer. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Just before I wrap, I wanted to make mention as well of this excerpt from the IMF press release, which says the price of both water and electricity needs to reflect cost of production. And I believe electricity is going up in Nevis. So what do we think about St. Kitts? It goes on. The drilling of wells, investing in water storage, and creating capacity for desalination are needed to establish a reliable supply of fresh water. More progressive utility rate structures that increase the tariffs for high-use customers would encourage investments in conservation and provide the resources needed for these investments. The Utilities Commission should provide guidance on the appropriate cost recovery pricing of electricity and water. The government should establish a taxation framework that provides incentives for investments in renewable energy while also allowing the public sector to receive a share of future rents from such investments. Broad-based exemptions from VAT and corporate income taxes for such investments should be avoided, and more targeted and economically efficient tax incentives should be considered instead. And one final excerpt I want to raise from this report, it reads, the impact of the recent minimum wage increases should be carefully assessed. And it reads, and I quote, a two-tier increase in January 24 and July 2025 will increase the minimum wage by nearly 40% compared to the previous level set in 2014, placing it higher than ECCU peers and likely subjecting 1/6 of the workers to the minimum wage. An analytical assessment should be undertaken to examine the possible impact of the minimum wage decision on employment, informally and external competitiveness. Public sector wage setting should also consider its cascading effects in the private sector. And my Straight Talk family, my final email reads, good night, Patches. Can you tell if any of our media community has made any inquiries into whether or not our Prime Minister was the person who signed the historic time capsule at last year's CARICOM anniversary? Can you tell if the St. Kitts Nevis inquired into the reason why Ambassador Vaughan was the one who signed the document even though the Prime Minister was at the historic meeting? Are our media sleeping on the job? Reads this email. And that's the way we're going to end it with the emails tonight. And that's the way we're going to end it in terms of our program and in terms of our thesis in particular, which we titled Deliver for People Before Delivering for Yourself. And many, my Straight Talk family, many have raised their concerns about this increase. And one such was well-known journalist, the Big JL.
My thing is, I believe you do it later. The first election and you win, and you go back in. I feel like you should
that may be a point.
That you were able to deliver for people before you deliver for yourself. But this is my point of view.
And his point of view is well taken and well echoed all over the country and beyond. Because when you consider that this has happened to thousands of people on the poverty alleviation program.
We paid 5,361 households are receiving PAP at this time. Remember, when we closed applications in December, 11,639 applied. Of that number, 8,985 were eligible. All right? And so that now, if you take 5,361 from that number, it's over 60% of the applications are being paid. I know for some persons being in the 40%, to them it's unfair.
It's criminal. Caller, I'm out of time, but I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Can you use it?
Hey, Mr. Liburd.
Yes, Carl. I know you're never out of words, but I'll give you 40 seconds. I'll give you 10 extra.
Yeah. Mr. Liburd, the thing I can't understand is that a few days after the government gave themselves what they're saying is 33%. You all have really looked into this. This is way more than 33%, you know. Because if you look at some people who move from 17,000 to 22,000, that's over 50% right here. And if you check the others, they are way past the 33% per individual person. Because saying they get a 33% raise, that's a lie that they are feeding the world and the public with. Now, you always say you're a student of maths. Look into it. One individual moved from 17,000 to 22 plus thousand. If you look percentagely, he gone over 50%, way past the 33%.
No, that's
then when you
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I always say match is my strongest weak point, but from 17 to 22, we'll give you the 33%, just about this. If it was 50%, it'd have gone to 25, which is half. 8 is half of 17, 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you look at it, per individual person, right? And then a few days later, you let the 13 persons from Casper. One other quick thing, some homework for you. Could you find out if Casper or the UDC gave any permission for businesses on Port Zante to be collecting a delivery fee? From the 1st of March, businesses and service providers were told late last month that as of the 1st of March 2024, that to deliver any goods and services to any business or company on Port Zante, there will be a delivery fee. So some homework for you for Thursday. You could find out if UDC or Casper send out any memo to these businesses, or is just these businesses now collecting another tax. The companies and delivery and service providers are saying that they did not get a memo. They was not called into any meeting, but they was told late last month as they deliver goods and services to the businesses on Port Zante that from the 1st of March 2024 there will be a delivery fee collected for delivering goods.
Okay.
So that's a little homework for you for Thursday.
Okay, my brother. Thanks a lot for your instructions. Thanks a lot for your contribution. Thanks for your instructions. And as we wrap tonight's programming, another question I'm asking is that why would the Prime Minister be paid a $3,600 housing allowance when he lives in a government house? That is a question I have to ask. Because $12,000, that's almost $43,000 per annum. Why would he be paid that? I hope he's not collecting that when he lives on the people's tax monies and taxpayers' account at the Beacon Heights, the gated community. Well, my Straight Talk family, as I said before, we did our appraisal, we did our performance appraisal, and we have concluded, I'm sure, that this administration has not delivered anything in health, education, agriculture, public infrastructure, energy. They have failed to deliver anything. And on that basis, my Straight Talk family, we cannot really approve or concur with this humongous increase, and especially with the insult that Garth Lucifer Wilkin has hurled at us when he said things like this in the parliament, my Straight Talk family, and we do not accept it, we do not condone it, and we figure that he is out of place.
I didn't take this job to be cushy and comfortable. I know I'm going to be attacked, but believe you me, nothing they could say no could faze me. I therefore pray for the resolution safe passage. But I wish the resolution safe passage may please you.
The question is that a resolution of the National Assembly of St. Christopher and Nevis approving recommendations of Salaries Review Commission be adopted. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
A resolution adopted that did not deliver for the people before it delivered for these ministers. And that's my story tonight, my Street Dog family, and I'm not going to change it. I'm going to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I want to thank you, the callers, you, the many listeners, you, the emailers. Just remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's spear, God's willing, I will connect with you on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. And until we connect, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. I promise a very interesting program on Thursday. We're going to look at integrity in public life. Very important topic as well. But just remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Dog family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. And thanks, my people. And don't forget to contribute to Gene Foy. Our number is 664-5501. And our account number, National Bank account number, 102-66893. Understand that MoneyGram is available as well, so please contact that lady. I am making my contribution myself. But until we connect on Thursday, keep moving on. Bye-bye, my Straight Talk family.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of